We live in an age of information. Think about it. A 7-year-old girl in Nigeria with a smartphone has access to more information today than the President of the United States did in the year 2000.
When I became president, there were just 50 websites on the World Wide Web. Now there are 17 million.
That's insane. We're now faced with a new challenge. Not a lack of information, but too much. How can we process what is essential, and more importantly, actually use it? New information is bombarding us every day, and we're in a constant state of information overload. This is where a second brain comes in. A second brain is an extension of our mind to remember ideas, inspiration, and insights. Using this second brain frees up mental energy to spend on making connections between ideas instead of struggling to retain them. You already use a second brain in some form or another. Every time you write a shopping list or put something in a calendar, that's a basic form of a second brain. A couple of decades ago, people used to have to memorize phone numbers. Now your phone can remember an infinite number of contacts. Outsourcing your memory to a computer scales up exponentially the amount of information you can use. But how can we level up our second brain to be more productive, to remember more of what we read and apply it in our lives? So here's what I learned from Building the Second Brain by Tiago Forte. Tiago Forte uses the code method, and it can be broken down into the following steps. So first, you want to capture the information. Have some form of note-taking app such as Evernote, Apple Notes, Notion. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you have a software that you're happy with using and that you can sync across your devices, so you can update from your phone and computer. Personally, I've been experimenting with Obsidian. It's free to use and can be used offline. There's a lot of features on there, and it can be quite intimidating to get started, but there's lots of great tutorials on how to use it. Now that you've got your note-taking app, you want to take information that resonates with you. It could be an interesting quote from an article, the bullet points of a tutorial of a new skill, a 30-second segment from a podcast, or an image. It could be anything of interest to you. Don't bother capturing stuff you already know or didn't find surprising. Focus purely on what is useful to you. Let's say there's a book or article that really resonates with you. Don't highlight more than 10% of the material, or you're not effectively summarizing. The whole point is to make the information as accessible as possible so you can retrieve what you actually need from it in just a few seconds. So now that we've captured the information, the next step is to organize. And for this, Forte uses the PARA method. It breaks down the categories of information into projects. These are things you're currently working on. This could be a fitness goal like losing 10 pounds. It could be writing a report as part of your research project at work. It could be learning a new skill, whatever. The information in this category is of current use to you, and you can use it specifically for the short-term tasks that you're working on right now. Areas. These are more broad subjects such as health, finance, hobbies, relationships, work, etc. These are overarching categories which you never actually finish, but it's where you can keep information for starting future projects. Next is resources. These are the things that might be of use to you in the future, but you don't currently need. For example, you want to learn coding in the future or playing the guitar, and you found some useful tutorials, but you won't be implementing it for a while. Archives. Finally, we have information which you've finished using, such as a completed project, which you don't need currently, but you can always keep as a point of reference. So next time you encounter a similar problem set, you can look back, see how you dealt with it previously. Now that you've got these 4 categories, you want to set up an inbox. This will be the place where you initially send all your incoming notes before categorizing them. This ensures 2 things. First of all, that you're adequately filtering the information and making sure that it's actually of some utility to you. And second, that you're putting the information where you're most likely to need it. So once you've captured and organized, it's time to distill. Distilling is summarizing very briefly, in no more than 2 to 3 sentences, the key takeaways of the note. Think of it like an executive summary. If you read nothing else about this note, what is it you should know? This allows you to quickly review your notes and apply the important essence of the knowledge. Explaining concisely also improves your understanding. Express. Why are we doing all this? Is it just to be a crap version of Wikipedia? Is it to self-congratulate ourselves on how much knowledge we've gained? No. It's to serve us. Information only has worth for what we can do with it, and the best way to use information is to make it into actionable knowledge. Knowledge is a resource that increases in value the more you share it, so it's time to give back. Use your knowledge to teach someone else. You can write a blog post or make a tutorial or a presentation for your colleagues. Producing content is much more satisfying than consumption, and it confirms your understanding of the material too. Making knowledge actionable is what makes it valuable, and that's a key point here. The object of a second brain is not not to Control-C, Control-V as much of the internet as possible, rather to be intentional about the information you're consuming. Ask yourself, what purpose is the information serving me? What will I use it for? If you find yourself with no answer to these questions, it's possible the content you are consuming is not serving you. So there we have it, a more intentional approach towards consuming information, with the ultimate aim of using knowledge to enhance your life and those around you with what you produce. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to grab a copy of How to Build the Second Brain, follow the link in the description. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and hit the subscribe button. See you soon.